Been a while, but I am back and ready to hit 2026 in the mouth. A big thank you to the subscribers that have stuck around, that have made comments and asked questions here on YouTube. It's appreciated, especially those who have answered the questions and shared their perspective within the comment section. That's great. That is what I want to create here, is a community that's looking out for and trying to help one another. This episode comes directly from the comment section and somebody asking, is construction safe? I wanted to share my perspective as someone who has been in this industry for almost 30 years now and been in the role from just an apprentice trying to survive and figure things out, all the way to a superintendent that was trying to sell safety and keep many people safe on a construction site. This is my perspective. My name's Joe Prim. Hey, let me jump in here for 1 second and ask you to like and subscribe to this channel, hype it up, whatever that means, and leave your comments below, leave your questions below. Those comments, and especially those questions, will drive this forward. You can also check out my website at retrocraft.us and buy some of these cool t-shirts and support this channel. Thank you. So the short answer here is no, construction isn't safe. But neither is driving, right? There are many things that we do on a daily basis that we wouldn't categorize as safe. For driving, just examples of what we do in order to make driving safer. We got ABS brakes on our cars and airbags and headlights and wipers and seatbelts. All of these things have built on new technologies as the automotive industry has sought to make vehicles and driving safer and safer. One of the many would call it an obstacle in this business, but I think it's actually to our advantage. Something that I've seen over the last 20 or 30 years is the role that insurance has played in this industry. Insurance has really pushed to make this industry safer. It's really pushed the general contractors and the subcontractors to keep the job site safe, not for our advantage, really, right? Because they're trying to eliminate lawsuits and eliminate accidents. But the real beneficiaries, and I know this is not an easy thing to say, but the real beneficiaries of this drive for safety is us. Because at the end of the day, we want to go home. And we want to go home the same way we showed up on the job site. And any agenda or any effort towards keeping us safe, whether it be really for our own good or not, is to our benefit. And we need to look at it that way. So I always want to look at the bigger picture on this channel, to not just zoom in on the small parts of a topic, but to look at the bigger picture. Because as an apprentice, which there's a lot of apprentices and young people looking to get into the industry that are subscribing here, it's really, when you get onto the job site for the first time, for the first couple years, you're really just trying to survive amidst the chaos that's on a construction site. So if we can see the bigger picture of what's going on, I think it helps to understand the whole picture a lot better. So one thing that we use in this industry to understand and mitigate accidents is called a hierarchy of controls. Number one on the hierarchy of controls is elimination. So we want to eliminate anything that can cause an accident or keep us from being safe, right? That would be physically removing a hazard from the job site. For example, prefabricating components at the ground level rather than at heights, or eliminate working at heights, right? So if we can build something down on the ground or build something in a warehouse or a factory and then lift it up to that floor, it eliminates us working on edges, eliminates the danger of falls. Substitution, replacing a hazard with a safer alternative, like using a less toxic chemical or quieter machinery. So we're looking to substitute like table saws for saw stop table saws, right? That stop if you touch the blade, or you're almost going to cut yourself with the blade. The table saw will shut down. Those are substitutions. It's a safer alternative. Number 3 is engineering controls, isolating people from the hazards through physical barriers or systems. An example would be installing guardrails on elevated platforms, using ventilation systems, or guards on machinery. Number 4 would be administrative controls, changing the way people work, which would be rules, policies, procedures, training. An example would be implementing lockout tagout procedures, job rotations, or restricting access to areas. And number 5, our last line of defense, which everybody wants to complain about and nobody wants to deal with, is PPE, right? Because no matter what the situation, no matter how much we try to eliminate, substitute, engineer, or have administrative controls, there's still going to be some inherent hazards in this industry, and that's the last resort is your PPE. So whether that be respirators or hard hats, safety glasses, face shields, vests, gloves, all of those things are the last resort in an attempt to keep us safe in our daily activities on a job site. And what I'm going to say about PPE is I've been there, I've complained, I've made a big stink about things, I've avoided PPE whenever possible, but the reality is, through the years, as the job sites have become more and more strict, I've just found ways that work for me. Different hard hats that are more comfortable, that are cooler with ventilation, safety glasses that I like to wear. I buy them in bulk because when they get scratched up, I want to be able to grab another pair. Boots that I like, clothes that are comfortable, so that I can make the PPE as least cumbersome and as least annoying as I possibly can. And it's gotten to the point now to where it doesn't bother me. It doesn't weigh on me. It doesn't make me frustrated as it used to, because I found ways to make it work for me. But the most important aspect of safety in construction is you. You need to own your own safety. You need to know the rules. You need to know the regulations. You need to know how to use your tools and equipment safely. That means if there's training that you need to do, even if the company you're working for isn't providing the training that you need, find a way to get trained yourself. Watch some YouTube videos, talk to people, go to the rental companies and ask them about training if it's on a boom lift or scissor lift or things like that that you're not accustomed to. Don't be afraid to seek out the training that can help keep you safe and get you home at the end of the day. You need to be willing. The other thing is, you need to be willing to leave, to walk off, and to quit if you feel like you are being put in a dangerous situation, asked to do things that you're untrained to do, or if you don't have the correct equipment. Far too many accidents that I've seen over the years, both that I've read about or seen on jobs that I've been on, people knew that there was a problem. People talked about there being an issue. People knew that they were being put in unsafe situations, and yet they continued. Personally, I have on more than one occasion either refused to do work till I got the proper safety equipment, or flat out refused to do work, when I thought it was going to put the public in jeopardy because we were asked to install panels that I didn't feel were correctly built. In all of those occasions, I was fully prepared to be fired, to be laid off, to lose my job. But at the end of the day, I realized that there were something more important than a job. I can always get another job, but I can't always guarantee my safety. And in all of those occasions, either what I requested was supplied, or work was stopped. In all of the situations, I kept my job. And I believe that I was respected more because I was willing to speak up, to stand up for what was right, and be fully willing to lose my job because of it. Always be aware of your surroundings. Keep your head on a swivel. All of this becomes easier the more experience that you have in this industry. You tend to see who you need to stay away from or what's going on in certain areas, what the hazards are, and never be afraid to bring that up to your foreman, bring that up to a superintendent. If there's a hole in the floor that isn't being properly protected with plywood over it, sometimes those get knocked away. Sometimes people are not careful. Bring it up. Bring it up to somebody so that that problem can get remedied and somebody else doesn't get hurt. The reality, though, is there will always be accidents on the job site, just like at home, just like when you're driving around. But the responsibility to work safely and to look out for the safety of everybody else on the job site falls on your shoulders. So is construction safe? No. There's a lot going on behind the scenes to mitigate the potential for hazards. But at the end of the day, it's your responsibility to keep yourself safe. It's your responsibility to do what you can. And there's only so much you can do. I understand that. Sometimes you can be the safest person wearing all the safety gear and somebody else makes a stupid decision or a stupid choice and puts other people at risk. That's the business. But the longer you can stay in this business, the longer that you can survive, the more clearly you will see these hazards, the more clearly you will see them before they become hazards, and you will be able to mitigate those problems. So stay safe. That's all I got. Let's get back to work.